Oh, technology! Hello, friends. I am back. I'm using StreamYards. I haven't for a long time. I was asked to share a interview I did with Megan Barella, a beautiful parenting coach from Parenting from the Next Generation. I tried to share it before, but the sound wasn't coming through. So I'm just going to do a quick test at the beginning of this video. Barella. Okay, I hear the sound on my phone, so I'm gonna try to screen share again and see if this interview will come through. We talk about some important stuff here. Let's see if you can actually hear what's going on. I will check it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. We're just waiting to go live. How are you doing today? Wonderful. Hello, everyone. It's great to see you today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's Megan Barella here, your positive parenting and happy home guide. So excited to be here with Alexandra Loves, who's going to be our special guest just for a few minutes today. We're going to hear more about Alexandra's story and the upcoming Moms and Race training. I am in Alexandra's 6-month anti-racism journey right now. I love everything that you're doing out in the world so much that we talked about you offering this Moms and Race training. Yeah. This is for moms who want to take an anti-racism training, who have not yet taken an anti-racism training led by a Black educator. You have the most compassionate, clear, yet excited accountability approach without any guilt or shame. It's so great to have you here. Talk a little bit about the course and the story and your story. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I mean, we were just talking about how we're enjoying the sun. You can see the sun coming in on me. I'm facing it directly. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, so my name is Alexandra Loves, and I'll tell you just before I talk about the course, how I started sort of getting into these subjects of race and identity and anti-racism and white supremacism and all of this stuff. And that is, I didn't grow up here. I grew up overseas. I didn't grow up with a race identity. I grew up in an international community. And when I moved here to the United States in 98, maybe. Yeah, 98. I started living part-time in the United States. And immediately in the first week, I was told, this is who you are because you're Black. This is who you're not because you're Black. And I was told that from people, everyone. It didn't matter what they looked like. So it was very jarring. And it made me sort of, first I went through a long identity crisis living in this country for the first 10 years that I was sort of either visiting or living in this country. And it made me really start digging in deep to how people are have their relationships with race, whether it comes to person, what emotions are wrapped around it. Then I started getting into the history, and I started listening to philosophy and thought around it. And it's always been something I talked about, always been something I've in my sessions, it was coming up with people in my sessions because I work with women creating their lives. So a lot of women who are just diving deep into themselves and trying to understand who they are and their responsibilities in this world. But of course, because of what's been going on in our country, and then last spring, the lynching of George Floyd, all of a sudden that work exploded. And so I came out with my courses that I knew I thought it was going to be 2021 when I was going to bring out the anti-racist journey that you're in. But then I was like, oh no, I guess now is the time. So I had the anti-racist journey, which is my core class. If you look on my Facebook, you'll see a lot of free videos on these subjects. And then now this will be the last course I'm teaching live for a while. I'm excited to do it, called Moms and Race. And part of the reason is because, I've been talking to Megan, and Megan's felt like there was definitely people seeking to know this information, to be in a space where they could be empowered with this information. And also I would say that 80% of my clientele is moms, is moms, parents, and people working with children. I attract a lot of people working with children. Look, this bracelet, this one right here, this was made for me actually this week by a child, and it matches all my other bracelets. So I wanted to wear it specifically for this interview because it's so special to me. So I wanted to create something, especially because I've also noticed that when I look into like the majority of mainstream, I don't want to say the majority, but what I experienced, a lot in the mainstream of activism and social justice and DEI trainings and racial sensitivity trainings and all this, I noticed a lot of people using guilting and shaming, people using narcissistic behaviors, gaslighting, deflecting, trying to make people small, a lot of oppressive tactics to teach people these things, to talk about these really difficult things. And it just, I know what it's like to work with teachers and be in systems that do that sort of thing. And in the long run, people end up having a lot of knowledge, but then they're holding a lot more guilt and a lot more shame. They're not empowered to do the work they're going to do. They're more likely to walk away more often and never go back to that work. And ultimately, this is about healing. If you're going to create a healing space, then using guilting and shaming and all these harsh judgments and yelling at people. And, there's a lot of facilitators out there that are getting their reparations from white people's pain. And I just was not, I was like, no, this is counter. This is not helping the very cause that, that you're wanting to cause. So I felt like it was important to sort of get my work out there. I always look at anti-racism, allyship, all these adjacent subjects from a spiritual perspective, from a healing perspective. And I want people, I don't care what color you are, I want people to feel empowered in that journey. And I want it to be aligned with their own spirits. So all of that philosophy, all of that energy is in the Moms and Race course.
And you bringing that experience that you do, not having spent your early formative years in this country, you really are bringing the solution-orientated energy that we're all being called to step into. So thank you so much for the space that you hold. I'm so excited for the training and for the community that is forming around the training.
Yes.
I do want to say clearly that this training comes from a need that we've seen here in the Parenting for the Next Generation community, that as white moms, we're not sure how to talk to our kids about racism. And that's just where we are right now. In order to meet that need for our kids, we have to get clear within ourselves. Yes. And that's why, Alexandra, I thank you so much for the space that you hold. And really, if you are a white mom and you are listening and you're not in acute stress, if you are in acute stress, we feel you, we send you lots of love and support, okay? Everyone is overwhelmed right now. Everyone is stressed. Everyone is depleted. And so just knowing that, I am hearing that a lot from moms, I have too much on my plate, I can't do this. And so really to invite you in to join. If after the brutal lynching of George Floyd, you knew you had to do things different, that we had to be better as white women, now is the time. And in fact, that this training, because Alexandra, you teach from this holistic spiritual perspective, we're going to focus on solutions. This is about anti-racism. This is about creating racial justice and equity in our world. And your training gives back to me in my life, in my personal life, in my evolution.
Yeah.
So,
I want to add to that. First, I just want to say within this training, there is a bonus section that everybody will receive that is a specific meditation for moms because you're in acute stress all the time. And there's also I provide my best self-care. Now, I want to be really clear. these are the things that I have developed over working with so many moms all the time. I also was a preschool teacher. I also taught theater for a long time in every age, dance and theater for a very long time in all the age groups. I have a certain amount of ECE credits, and also a full-time nanny in so many different households with so many different multiples. And a lot of time, like when you're a full-time nanny, like you're in a relationship with the parents, especially the moms. And so a lot of my work has been being in relationships with moms and helping them with their self-care so that they could enjoy being moms, but also feeling like full human beings, grounded and fully in their bodies and loving the juiciness of their life, whether it was perspective from momhood or perspective from womanhood, right? So I'm sharing all those things too. And I get that. I totally understand feeling like, I don't have time for this now. And I will say, we should really only do what we think we could handle, but we should always check in with ourselves with our priorities and why they are our priorities. This thing about like if you're ignited by what you're seeing happen to Black people, if you're ignited by seeing this girl recently getting maced and she's yelling out, "I'm just a kid, I'm 9 years old." One thing that we do have to acknowledge as a white mom, okay, and this is not to guilt or shame you, this is just something to remember, acknowledge that it is a privilege that you can be busy enough to kind of walk away from this, right? Like, I'll tell you, the first time I was assaulted and the first time I was assaulted and insulted, I was 4 years old. So for moms of that have children of color, moms that are of color, like they don't have that privilege, and this is something that is also on their daily plate. It is like a training that we just go, is a training that they just go through in their lives. So I do want to acknowledge that in this space, and I want to acknowledge that you are very capable of learning, what this course has to offer. And it's designed in a way that really, and this is how I design my courses, it's designed for you to receive, okay? It's designed for you to press play or to show up, whether it's live or you're just listening to the recording. It really is designed for you to receive in a way that you don't have to labor, to do. Right? It is meant to be something that is received. Okay. I'm not going to give you paper assignments. No one's going to punish you for not joining a freedom fighting group tomorrow. Like, none of that's happening. This is really something for you to receive and then to return back to. You'll have the recordings forever to return back to, so you can absorb new perspectives that are going to give you relief. Okay. We're in a time, last thing I'll say about this, we're in a time in 2021, this stuff is not going away. If this stuff stresses you out, if you're ignited by George Floyd, if you're ignited by Breonna Taylor, if you're ignited by all of this, about what you're seeing in the news, about the coup that's happening, that's also about race. The coup that just happened, that's about race. What's happening in our government, that's all about race. It's not going away. It will give you relief to have a perspective and to be on this journey in a way that feels empowering to you.
Yes, it will. And thank you so much. And thank you so much. We shared in this group the video that you did before on white guilt and white shame, and that we have an option to be too busy. And when I talked to one of the moms in our community who registered, that was why she registered, because she said, I realize it's a privilege that I have to look the other way. We do not want, it's not the time for that. It's the time to commit for positive action, for change. And this is one of the most beautiful ways that you can do it through, Alexandra, your upcoming Moms and Race training. So people can reach out to you with questions. We are wrapping up the early bird.
The early bird ends on Friday. It is $250. You can split pay it. And that is actually less than working with me privately in my Black mentor sessions for white people who are ready. So I highly suggest you take advantage of that. And again, remember, this course is, oh, I don't think I said it before, this course is customized to the participants. So even if you can't show up for these 3 sessions live, you still can ask questions that will be incorporated into the course. It will be in the recordings. So it's still customized to you. You can listen to it on your own time.
And that this is really a safe space.
Yes.
And why I'm reaching out to a lot of moms in business, because it's for you, it's for your children, it's for your communities, it's for doing anti-racism work in our world, and it's going to have a ripple effect out into your business communities. So within that, people send in the questions. You can get so many levels of support for this training. Let's create a community where, as white women, we invest our time and our financial resources into anti-racism trainings led by Black educators. The time is now, so join us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for creating this space. And thank you for the parenting group. It's great. I've been reading some of the things in there. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you for being a part. Thank you for the work that you do and for sharing your time with us today. Early bird ends on Friday. Take care, everyone. Bye. We'll see you again soon. We'll see you inside the training.
Yes.